Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Backslate Slam. This is episode number 158. I am, as always, Josh, joined here with Ben. How you doing, Ben?
Yes, this is Ben, and this is the Backstage Jam, as Josh almost botched it. Backstage Jam. Slam.
Sham?
What's up? No.
The Backstage
We're not,
Jam.
We're not Brad Shepard. We don't report false information.
Shots
or make
fired!
stuff
Shots
up.
fired!
So, anyway, yeah. Big stuff happening with AEW's event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's... Actually, you know what? I want to talk about the XFL.
Okay. What about it?
So, a couple of days ago, XFL unveiled 8 of their team names and their logos. All right. So, we got the Dallas Renegades,
Mm-hmm.
the Houston Roughnecks, the Los Angeles Wildcats, the New York Guardians, the Washington, D.C. Defenders, Tampa Bay Vipers, the Seattle Dragons, and the St. Louis Battlehawks. So, Joshua,
Yeah.
have you seen any of this information yet?
About the teams? Yeah. Yeah, I saw it.
You're thinking about jumping on board one team for the bandwagon? Or you're going to wait till the season starts?
You know what? I think it would be in my best interest to go ahead and pick a team before the season starts so I can say that I was there from the beginning. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about jumping board with LA. Los Angeles.
Okay. I'm going to go with June Jones and his run and shoot offense in Houston with the Roughnecks.
What's the LA team called again? The Roughneck
The what?
Killers? That's what they're called?
The
LA?
Wildcats.
Oh, that's kind of dumb. Give me something else. Read the team names again.
Dallas Renegades.
Nah.
New York Guardians.
Mm.
DC Defenders.
Eh.
Tampa Bay Vipers. Seattle Dragons. St. Louis Battlehawks.
Ugh.
Houston Roughnecks, and the LA Wildcats.
You know, give me Seattle.
Seattle Dragons. I think they have the best colors.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a Seattle Dragons fan. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I think Seattle has the best colors right now. They have dark green, lighter shade of green, and orange. So their uniforms are going to be very interesting.
I will be buying a Seattle Dragons jersey to show my support of my, I guess, now hometown team of Seattle.
They have actually, I think yesterday or today, you can go to the XFL.com and then their shop open. You can actually get the team T-shirts and hats, I believe. Like the simple one. The simple T-shirt with the logo and then the hats. I'm going to be picking up a Houston Roughnecks. Unfortunately, they are sold out of 2X and would have to wait until it's in stock. It's kind of shocked. It's like people bought them up real quick.
We know Dallas, everything's bigger in Texas, right? So, I mean, it was bound to happen.
Houston, you mean?
Well, it's still Texas.
Yeah. So
I hear that people are giving it a better shot of surviving and being a thing this time around, and
okay.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Okay, so here's what I know from watching so much podcasts, so from watching so much news pressed on it from January of this year until a couple of days ago when they announced all of this. Apparently, they haven't sold they haven't sold TV rights. They just have partnerships with ABC, ESPN, and Fox Sports One.
Hmm.
None of these four providers have actually bought rights. Now, Vince McMahon, from what I've seen, let me get my notes. Okay, Vince McMahon has actually invested enough capital into this venture that it will be enough to last 3 to 4 seasons. So I think listening to a lot of pundits, including Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd is actually coming around to the XFL. Like he's really like he's putting it over big time, and so a lot of people think like if the first season does well with ratings and viewership numbers, that probably at the end of the season, one of the aforementioned networks, ESPN, ABC, Fox Sports One, or whatever, they're actually going to fork over the rights and says, okay, this brand actually has worth. That is the hope. The fear is that we're going to get 3 seasons of XFL. Vince McMahon and the XFL isn't making any money at all from which is where the big money is coming from the TV rights deal. And at the end of the 3rd season, we're going to have what happened with the original XFL is WWE loses 35 million, NBC loses 35 million, and then they fold. So we're kind of hoping that the XFL will do very well, and if the people want the XFL to stick around, the XFL has to do one thing and one thing only. There is no gimmicks. There is no WWE affiliation whatsoever. There will be no wrestling involved. However, they will be promoting WWE events because Fox has started promoting WWE events. They have promoted SmackDown. Earlier this morning on the Fox Sports panel, they had Elias do a pep rally where he lost the 24/7 title on Fox to R-Truth, and then later R-Truth got set up with an interview, and then he ended up losing the 24/7 to one of the Fox Sports One TV analysts, who then got rolled up and pinned by Elias, which was a fun thing. So Fox is all in on WWE and pushing WWE. So the hope is that XFL shows good football. So people are going to be saying, what is the difference between this and XFL and that XFL? The difference is this XFL, they have Landry Jones, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback.
Okay, Ben kind of froze up on me. And he was in the middle of breaking down some pretty awesome analysis of the XFL. I think we might have him back. Ben, you back? Nope. Yep. Oh, it would not be an episode of the Backstage Slam without some technical difficulties, now would it? But as I was saying, Ben was breaking down some pretty heavy stories when it comes to XFL analysis.
All right, I'm back.
I think it's going to be safe to say that Ben, you're going to be our go-to guy for the expert analysis when it comes to XFL.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like I said before the podcast, we should have done this on Skype. because I'm looking at Discord, and for some reason my connection keeps fluctuating between red and yellow right now on the phone call,
That's weird.
and I don't know why it's doing that for me. I got good connection. It's sunny weather. I can't explain it. So sorry about that. I believe I was talking about right before Josh intervened.
Before we go any further, I do want to plug the Fantasy Football League. And I also, if you want to switch over to Skype, now would be the time. While I'm talking.
We should be fine. We should be fine.
Okay. Just wanted to say, speaking of football, we have a Fantasy Football League that's ready to go. We just need a couple more people. All you got to do is sign up for the Discord, the Backstage Slam Discord, and follow the link to Yahoo, or just go to Yahoo and search for the Backstage Slam in the Fantasy Football Leagues, and join us. Let's play some games. I'm planning on a live draft, and hopefully everybody will be able to participate in, you know what? I think that live draft, I'm going to make a podcast too, so it should be fun hearing the trash talking as everybody picks their players. So, Backstage Slam Fantasy Football. Be there. XFL. Go ahead.
All right, so the XFL is going to be... Did you hear the Landry Jones part?
It cut off right at Landry Jones.
Okay. So Landry Jones is their first drafted player. He was the backup to Ben Roethlisberger, the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers for several years. So he signed on, and they're looking to sign 7 more quarterbacks between now and the middle of September. And the reason why they're doing it this way is back in the original XFL, they just held open tryouts. Of course, we had guys that played college football. We had guys that didn't make it in the NFL. But Josh, you remember that the quality of football wasn't that good, and that's because there was guys that hadn't played football in years. We had guys that their highest level of football was high school football that actually made XFL teams. We had guys that come out of retirement from playing the sport actually come in and play in the XFL. So, and that not only that, they had like less than a month to have training camp before they did it, because it was just a rush job. Well, the XFL has had multiple summer showcases. They had summer showcases these last 2 to 3 months at all 8 cities where all 8 teams will be represented. And what the summer showcase is basically combines. You know, like how the NFL draft, they have the NFL combine where all the guys that are looking to be drafted to the NFL, they go ahead and they start doing testing, physical testing, and get all their scores and all that stuff. Well, the XFL had this throughout the entire summer at all 8 cities. And what they're going to do is they're going to build the entire league around their 8 quarterbacks. And the 8 quarterbacks are going to be the best players in the entire league for the XFL. So, with that said, we're going to have the NFL season start up next week. And then sometime in the middle of September, they're going to have cut day, where the NFL has to cut their roster down to 55, 60 players or something like that. And all the players that gets cut, the XFL can go ahead, and that's when they're going to go and hold their draft in October. I think it's in the beginning or the middle of October, where they're going to have their draft, and a lot of people in the draft are going to be the ones that didn't make it to the NFL, or the ones that didn't make the cut. And they're also going to be looking at adding more quarterbacks because they said they want to have 3 quarterbacks per team because the NFL usually had 2 quarterbacks per team. So basically, they're shopping around, and the NFL says, okay, we're looking at every single NFL team's number 3 quarterback. Who is the best number 3 quarterback available to each team? And let's use the New England Patriots, for example. Everybody that's ever backed up Tom Brady has done very well when Brady hasn't played in those games for whatever reason. And basically, TLDR, the XFL will have much higher caliber, more physically gifted players this time around than it did its first go around because they're not holding open tryouts to everybody. Like, a lot of these guys are going to get cut from the NFL. And I'm not talking about, oh, I got cut from the NFL 10 years ago and now I made the New York, New Jersey Hitmen. What? No. These guys, they're going to be more active more recently. They're going to be playing football. In fact, the AAF, the Alliance of American Football, that folded this past April, there are already players that are making a jump to the XFL, hoping to make XFL teams. So I will be probably doing a XFL podcast or just on my brand new podcast, Morning Cup of Ben, just doing weekly updates for that. And I'll probably share that too, since there's WWE affiliation with that.
You know what? I think in a standalone XFL podcast would be pretty awesome.
I got you covered.
And I think we could possibly get you some players to interview.
Nice. So just real quick, a lot of people saying, "Oh, what's different this time around? There's going to be gimmicks." No gimmicks, but they're going to be doing new things. They're shortening the play clock from 45 seconds to 25 seconds. So the play clock, as soon as the play is dead, the NFL is going to be shortening their play clock as well, but it's not going to be as short as 25 seconds. And also, there isn't going to be point after kicks. There isn't going to be a kick after a touchdown. There's going to be tiered scoring. So basically, every team is going to be doing going for 2, but from the 2-yard line, if they make it, it's going to be 1 point. From the 5-yard line, if they make it, it's going to be 2 points. And if they have a play going from the 10-yard line, it'll be 3 points. So the maximum amount a team can get per scoring run is 9 points, a touchdown and a play from the 10-yard line. And the team gets to choose, or rather the coach will choose if they're going to go for 1, if they're going to go for 2, or if they're going to go for 3 points. Josh, what do you think about that?
Well, I think, for one, it'll make for more exciting games. Because how many times in the NFL do we see games like come down to, oh, they're winning by 8. If only there was, a better way, or they're losing by 9, and they want to get back in the game. Now, it gives people a chance to get back in the game when the deficit is under 10. And games that can go either way after 1 touchdown, I think is pretty awesome. Especially for the excitement of the game, and should maybe not draw in viewers, but it should certainly retain viewers when it comes to close games. Even in the NFL, when you look at the score and you're like, yeah, it's 10-point deficit and game's over. I'm hitting the road, got to beat that traffic. Or I'm changing the channel. I think Vince McMahon has put into place, maybe not a perfect system, but definitely a system that should help keep people in their seats. And for someone that runs a wrestling promotion, that's That's an important quality to have, an important skill to have, to keep people in their seats all the way to the end. And adding those tiers is a good way to do it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So, remember that silly dash for the football instead of that heads or tails coin toss?
Oh,
yeah, they got rid of that.
You mean the opening concussion battle royal?
Yeah, they got rid of that. That's not coming back. A lot of the smash mouth football rules or the loosening of the rules where you can actually target a player, yeah, that's all gone. This is going to be very, should I say, player safety. They like player safety. Yes, this is like, oh, well, it's the Extreme Football League, but no, they're pushing player safety. I read some reports that they're going to be using state-of-the-art helmets. New gear. The XFL is going to be conducting their own tests in hopes that it'll improve the sport of football all across the board to where, hey, high school football, college football, NFL is going to be using, the technology that the XFL is going to be using. And of course, XFL was the first to use mic'd up, where they mic'd up their players or coaches up on the sidelines or on the field. The NFL took that, and they also came up with the Sky Cam. And the NFL also took that as well, and the NFL made that as stable as theirs. So the question is, what kinds of innovation that the XFL will have? Well, I know one, and Josh, you know one. The XFL has used the 3D animation design that WWE uses during their big 5 pay-per-views, when we've seen them over the last 3 WrestleManias, where the graphic overlays got better and better and better, where it looked seamlessly real. Well, they're using it in the XFL.
What for?
To what end? I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe there's some sort of patent or trademark for computer yellow lines on the field, so they're going to make this huge 3D zone thing. I don't know. But it's interesting that they're going to be using that technology for football.
When the team is going for an extra point play, maybe what they'll do is that they'll highlight from the 2-yard line to the end zone one color, and then from the 2 to the 5 one color, and then from the 5 to the 10 one color, and then in the middle it'll have how much points if the plays. I'm just assuming, but I think that would be a great idea, because the people watching the football games will get to learn about the new rules and the new styles of play along with everybody else. I think that'll be cool. So the XFL is aiming to have their games done by 2.5 hours. And by doing that, once the clock starts on the game, aside from media timeouts, injuries on the field, the play clock will remain in play until the 2-minute warning for each quarter, which is something. So basically, if there is a incomplete pass, usually in the NFL or in college football or in high school, an incomplete pass, it stops the time. You have the football, you run out of bounds, it stops the clock. Well, the XFL says they're not going to do that. Only media timeouts for, when they do go to commercial, injured player, and a turnover on downs, or the 2-minute warning. That's when the only time the clock stops during the XFL. That's what they're going to try to do. They're quickening the pace. They want a fast-paced football.
Well, the 2-minute drill will certainly be a 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm. I've also read that the referees will also be having helmet cams or body cams, and that there will also be cameras all over the football field, which is pretty cool, because I always wanted a pylon cam. When somebody dives into the corner of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more camera angles. Maybe cameras on drones, 360-degree angle drone play. That'll be awesome. But yeah, that's enough for the XFL. I'll keep you guys posted on the BSP and on the my upcoming XFL podcast.
Title to be determined. But right now, we are 1 week away from AEW presenting their second pay-per-view, All Out. This coming off the heels of Double or Nothing, as well as, a few smaller shows that they've been doing over the last few months, just to kind of, I guess, get their beaks wet and, do a little bit of charity work as well. It is, so far, from what I understand, 9 matches strong. 7 are for the main show. They have 2 for a pre-show. And I guess what we're going to do now is our predictions.
Yep, I got the card ready.
Okay, me too. What do you want to start with, the pre-show?
Yep.
All right. So, I'll read a match, you read a match. How about that?
I'm reading the match from the order that I put them in the Discord. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the actual order that you're looking at.
Well, then I should probably see what the order is on the Discord.
It's in the Pay-Per-View Predictions League channel.
Okay.
I also submitted my picks.
Okay, so I will read it from opening to close, which is basically backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the pre-show, we have Private Party versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Markin.
Yep.
Okay, who you got?
I got Private Party. I think they're gonna go to the semifinals.
I also have Private Party. I saw them work, and I gotta say, they got something. They definitely have something, and I kind of want to see more of what they do. So we both have Private Party. Next up on the pre-show, we have a 21-woman casino battle royale. The winner will receive a match for the inaugural AEW Women's Championship, scheduled for October 2nd, for the inaugural AEW on TNT broadcast. Do you have a list of people that are going to be in it? Because
I don't as well, only because on the Wikipedia they only have 9 women's names on there. There was somebody that compiled all the names on Twitter from AEW saying so and so is all in or whatever, and it was still like 9 or 10 women. So I'm sure they're saving a couple of surprises or a good amount of surprises for that. But I have my winner, and I'm picking Britt Baker.
Britt Baker, that's a pretty safe choice.
The dentist.
I don't have a list of people in front of me, so it's very hard to pick one. So I'm going to go ahead and say Britt Baker. Why not? Because I don't know who else is in it.
Well, you got Nyla Rose. You got some of the Joshi talents. I think you got. Brandy is in it. I most doubtedly she is in it, for all extensive purposes.
Is Kylie Ray in it?
Yeah, I think she most likely is.
Oh wait, announce participants. Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Allie Brandy Rose, Teal Piper, Evilise, Jazz, Big Swole, Sadie Gibbs, and 12 other opponents. Yeah, great. So I'm going to go with Britt Baker.
Britt Baker. Okay.
Yeah. Out of
Teal Piper.
the ones announced, I'm gonna say Britt Baker.
Yeah, Teal Piper is the daughter of Rowdy Piper, who most recently signed to Women of Wrestling.
I forgot. I totally need to write this stuff down. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it looks like the opening match is Riho versus Hikaru Shida.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
tell us about this one.
Well, two former champions of Stardom. Everybody got to see Riho a couple of times. She's the cutesy footsie one.
Mm-hmm.
In that
yes.
pink uniform. And then you got Hikaru Shida, who looks like she's Asuka. And yeah, like Hikaru Shida is a total badass. And she's an actress as well. And she sings as well. If you follow her on Twitter, there's a video clip of her singing We Are the Champions from Queen in English. Amazing job. And I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's going to be like the strong style of the women's division. Like, trust me, she can be a world killer, and she's going to be the future AEW Women's Champion, no doubt about it. Because I know Kenny Omega is a big fan of hers, so I'm going with Hikaru Shida, and I think she's going to get built up. She'll probably be the first or the second challenger to the inaugural Women's Champion. You can count on that. Take it to the bank.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this because I'm picking Riho. I mean,
okay.
How can you go against somebody that has won so many championships? The IWA Triple Crown twice. The Super Asia Championship, which she currently holds. What's not to love about Riho? And the fact that she's so darn adorable does help too.
I love Riho.
Then why are you talking about that trash, man?
I'm biased towards Shida because I have a crush on her. Plain and simple.
Well, then I will use that same reasoning to make my pick.
What? You've been using that for years when it came to Bayley and Nikki Cross. Come on now.
And they still haven't found out about each other. I'm living a charmed life, man. Next match. Darby Allin versus Joey Janela versus Jimmy Havoc in a three-way match.
I got Jimmy Havoc only because he needs a win. I feel so bad for Jimmy. Jimmy is touted as one of the 6 top guys in the company. That's all in the mix for the AEW Championship. Who said that? The Elite said that when they announced who's going to be in the main event. But Jimmy since then has been put into tag team matches lately, and he hasn't won any of them. So I'm hoping that Jimmy gets a win here. Because Darby, everybody's impressed with him. Everybody's all in love with Darby Allin now after what we've seen from Fight for the Fallen. And Joey Janela is just over right now. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way about Jimmy Havoc that I do. This guy needs a win real bad. So I got Jimmy Havoc.
Once again, we separate on our picks because I picked Darby Allin. He went toe-to-toe with Cody and came out with a draw.
He also took the loss, though. In his last match.
Stop using logic, man. You know I don't play that way. But I'm still picking Darby Allin because it seems like they're invested in making him something. He may not be a world beater like you talk about your little crush with Shida, but he's gonna be a name to recognize. And I fully expect him to win this match to kind of help with that. Joey Janela and Jimmy Havoc, they're fine. They're going to pick up more wins later on down the road. Darby Allin's the one that's kind of at a tipping point to find out whether or not he's going to be a superstar. Oh, no, I'd better not use that term. Whether or not he's going to be a upper guy or whether or not he's going to be someone that's just kind of there. Joey Janela and Jimmy Havoc, they're fine. They're going to be fine. And that is why I pick Darby Allin. Argue with me if you think you can.
No, I think they're all three of them are solid. It's just that Jimmy needs a victory. Like, he really, really needs one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, everybody that's in the shuffle for the heavyweight championship, he's dead last.
Can I be completely honest with you for a second?
Yeah.
When your video dropped off the screen, I thought maybe you were disconnected from the call. So I was calling you out, thinking you couldn't answer me. Whoops.
No,
You're
I
still there.
turned it off because I think it's messing with the connection on Discord, and it is. Now my connection is green.
Yeah.
It was hovering in the yellow, it went to red, and then it went to yellow. So I was like, I wonder if I turn off my webcam, and then bam, it's green. Stable at 121 milliseconds. So I was like, I'm going to leave it like this until we're done.
The next match, Cody Rhodes, I said it, sue me, versus Shawn Spears in a singles match for the ex-WWE trying to be a major star outside of the big Connecticut company challenge. Put that on a t-shirt. So Cody versus Shawn Spears. What you got, Ben? Who you picking?
2 words, Tully Blanchard. Dark Horse. I got
He's not in
Shawn
the match.
Spears winning.
Tully
Let me
Blanchard's
finish,
not in the
man.
match. I mean, he'll be at the match, but you can't pick him to win.
I didn't. Did you just not? You interrupted me. I said 2 words, Tully
I would
Blanchard.
never interrupt you, Ben.
He's the Dark Horse. I got Shawn Spears. And when I said I got Shawn Spears, you went blah, 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 blah,
I would
blah.
never interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking Cody because you don't bet against the guy that, runs the company.
Cody's putting everybody over until TV. I said it back in April, and he hardly has won anything. And I'm right. And he's going to continue to lose until October.
What was the last match Cody lost?
The tag team match.
Well, I mean, he was up against other owners of the company, so...
He's putting everybody over until TV. Why? Because then there's that stigma. The vice presidents of AEW are all booking themselves to win. And if they're not themselves, they're booking their friends to go over.
Well, they hired their friends, all of them.
Everybody's a family in AEW. Come on now.
But I'm still picking Cody. Next up, speaking of the other guys that make decisions, the Young Bucks are taking on the Lucha Brothers. By the way, if we were on camera right now, you'd be able to see my amazing Lucha Brothers t-shirt that came in the mail just yesterday.
I think you skipped the match.
Pro Wrestling Tees. What's that?
I think you skipped a match.
Did I?
Yeah, because there's a match lower on the part. It's the Best Friends versus Dark Order.
Okay, we'll do that one. Next up is a tag team match where the winners receive a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament. And that is the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson.
I know you're going for the Best Friends since you never went against them since they joined AEW, so I'm going to go with the Dark Order for the simple fact that they're being pushed, and I don't know why. I don't like their character, but I love their in-ring work. Holy crap, they're good together.
Well, the Best Friends are great. What was that triple threat match that they were in? Triple threat tag.
It was Angelico, Jack Evans, Dark Order versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And by the way, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are confirmed to be entered in the tag team tournament.
Okay, at least they're doing
Tony
something.
Khan said so.
I am going to pick the Best Friends.
See, I told you. They're like the New Day in the Indies for you. Even when they were in New Japan, you never picked against them.
I love the Best Friends. Been following them for a long time. Is that a crime?
No.
Okay. Sometimes, things are a crime and you don't really realize it, and things get a little hairy. These things happen. Next up, speaking of people that help run the company, the Lucha Brothers, who are not those people I was mentioning, are defending the AAA, or Triple A, there we go, World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, in a match called Escalera de la Muerte, Ladder of the Death.
I am going to pick the champions to retain their titles. Lucha Bros all the way.
I am, once again, not picking against the people that make the decisions. I'm not saying that's why they're going to win, but it would make a good moment for this pay-per-view right before debuting on TNT to just have that feel-good Young Bucks moment. And
this should be the final match between them, though.
Now they'll go
at least
again.
for now.
Probably in Mexico.
Because this has been a 6-month-long feud.
And it'll probably go 7.
Right, but after this, they're pushing the tag tournament. So, and the Bucks is in that as well. So, I don't think we'll see these guys for a tag team title for the was it the AAA Tag Team Championship? I think this is the last one for a while. For a while between these two teams. That's why I'm going to go with the Lucha Brothers retaining. And the reason why I say that is because I think the Young Bucks will lose due to outside interference. I just have a feeling. I don't want to say what. I just got this special I got my spider sense tingling.
You think Shane McMahon's going to come out here and screw him over?
No, I think we got FTR. I'm kidding. FTR's their contracts aren't expired until after AEW starts. Anyway.
In the final 2 matches, we have Kenny Omega taking on Dean Ambrose. John Mox. Pac. Because Dean Ambrose recently was diagnosed with MRSA in his elbow. So a last-minute replacement had to be made, and we get Pac.
It's kind of funny? 2 hours ago, AEW and ITV Wrestling put out a video on Twitter that while Kenny Omega was shooting his promo against Jon Moxley, someone came and interrupted him and said that he's out of the match. And the guy goes, yeah, Mox is out. He's injured. And Kenny goes, wait, what do you mean? He's like, he's out of the match at All Out. How did you get this? Who said? And he says, Cody. Cody says he has a staph infection. And then you should see, go and find this video after the podcast. It should be on one of the most recent tweets for ITV Wrestling and AEW's official Twitter. Like, either Kenny Omega is a good actor, or this was legit. Like, they interrupted him during the middle of a vignette shot recording to break this to him.
You want to know something funny?
And what's that?
I just loaded up my Twitter, and it's like literally the first thing that popped up.
Yeah. So the guy says he has a staph infection, and then there's somebody in the back yelling, "Staph infection!" I was like, I thought he had MRSA. So I don't know. Maybe it could be related or something. I'm not sure.
Can you hold on just a second? I need to see if this is bleeding over into the... No, it's not. Okay.
It's not.
But it could be, and I could play this for everybody.
No. Copyright.
I mean...
Just wait till after.
It does fall under fair use. But, who do you have to win?
Kenny Omega? Because they immediately said that this match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley will go on. It's just that it's being put off to a later date. And what better way to keep Kenny in the hunt to regain a top contendership for the AEW championship than to have him go over Pac. And Pac isn't holding a Dragon Gate title, so I don't think he minds. He isn't gonna have any problems losing.
Interesting. Unfortunately,
but I think this is going to be match of the night. To be honest, I do think this is match of the night.
Unfortunately, we don't have the option to call for a no contest because I don't think there's going to be a winner. But
actually, you can go no contest.
Then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go no contest.
No contest? Okay. Yeah. So, for those of you guys that are in the pay-per-view predictions league, you can have win, lose, or nobody wins, aka no contest.
But if somebody interferes or cheats, that the match does get awarded to somebody, so that will not fall under no contest. It's straight up if there's a time limit or double count out or things of that nature. If you're listening to this show, you probably understand what the rules of a no contest finish are.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the last match of the night, the main event, some people call it, and it is a singles match for the inaugural AEW World Championship. Chris Jericho is defending his legacy in this match, and Adam Page is defending his rope, I guess, as they go one-on-one to find out who the first AEW World Champion is going to be.
I think this is the largest championship belt in the history of sports entertainment and pro wrestling.
13 pounds of gold? Because
when Tony Khan was holding that belt up, it looked like he was struggling to hold it up. I'm going with the safe bet. I'm going with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I'm also going with Chris Jericho.
I'm a huge Adam Page nerd. Like, seriously. He's like my Adam Cole of AEW. But I gotta go with Chris Jericho. I gotta go that would get the attention of people right on October 2nd. And I think it'll be Chris Jericho.
And
I don't think he holds the title for very long, but I think he's going to win it.
For those reasons, I am going to agree with you. Like I said, I'm going to pick Chris Jericho. You got to have somebody that the crowd's going to go nuts for that first night on TNT. And I don't just mean the people in attendance, because if you bought tickets to the first ever AEW show on TNT, chances are you're pretty psyched to see Adam Page as it is. But for those watching at home that are trying to find that alternative to WWE, and it's going to be, a little counterintuitive to say this, but Jericho is a familiar face. So to see him in something new would be a pretty big moment for AEW on TNT when they debut on October 2nd. So that is why I'm picking the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho.
Actually, I think I take that back. I think he might be a champion for a little bit longer than I thought he would be. Because we have the Jericho Cruise 2. The Chris Jericho presents Rockin' Wrestling Rager at Sea. That's going to be taking place on January 20th to the 24th from Miami to the Bahamas. So he could still be champion at that time. Who knows? It'll be interesting. And half of the talent on that event are AEW talent, and a whole bunch of who's who of legends.
Man, if I thought I could get away with going on that cruise, I would.
Yeah.
So that is the card for AEW All Out, as it sets up its debut on TNT on October 2nd. Wow,
I think
it's going to be a pretty good night. Next week,
yep,
one week from today, as a matter of fact, right?
Yep, next Saturday.
Okay, rolling right
Another
along.
note.
What's that?
Another note. Our podcast is going to be next Sunday, so we're going to delay it. We usually do podcasts on Fridays, but we're going to wait till next Saturday. And even though we're only doing the predictions for AEW All Out, we still have 3 events next Saturday, Josh, running at the same time. So we have All Out, and we also have New Japan Pro
UK.
Wrestling, New Japan's UK show.
Yeah.
And NXT Takeover UK.
Is it Ring of Honor running something that weekend too?
I'm not sure. Speaking of which, Ring of Honor, Sinclair Broadcast Company, has bought 21 Fox regional, I guess, distribution somethings.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they bought TV rights. They're going to be on regional TV in the Pacific Northwest. I read that last night.
So what does that mean for everybody?
No, I'm just saying they got a TV deal going.
That's
just
weird
like
because they're owned by
the
a
NWA.
TV
The
company.
NWA got a similar TV deal coming. And I'm saying we're gonna have a lot of wrestling on TV. The
How are we
most
gonna watch
wrestling
it
on
all?
TV in ever, I guess.
How in the world are we going to watch all this? The answer is
I'm
one show at a
prioritizing-
time.
I'm prioritizing New Japan and AEW. Everything else, DVR'd or able to watch a VOD of online somewhere.
Yeah. Just got to prioritize and then scheduleize to make room for all of this wonderful wrestling in your life. Speaking of wonderful wrestling, speaking of the opposite of wonderful wrestling, the WWE had Raw and SmackDown this week. I watched Raw, but you told me to stay clear of SmackDown.
They both were crap, but SmackDown was especially crap this week.
What happened to the rah nature of it's Heyman and Bischoff, and they're gonna be running the show.
Bischoff isn't running anything until October, I believe. And I think the same goes for Heyman. I think Heyman get some decision making, but I don't think he's directing yet. What's the sense of him directing before Bischoff? Because for all intents and purposes, from what I've read and understand, is that they're starting at the same time. So if Bischoff isn't like directing everything, then Heyman isn't 100% doing everything as well. And I know that Heyman and Triple H and what's his name, Bucktooth Beaver. What's his name? Kevin Dunn. Those three were in charge of Raw and SmackDown this week. Vince wasn't there. Because this past Wednesday they had that XFL team reveal and all that stuff. So that's why Vince wasn't there Monday and Tuesday.
You know what? I wanna do something that we haven't done before. It is Saturday, and we normally record on Fridays. You know what? Maybe I'll start it next week. That way I can get a little more consolidated. I want to close the show with, wrestling events that people can go to in their area. I found a place that gives me a list, a schedule of events from all over the country, all over the world, and with big promotions and some smaller promotions. I think it would be pretty cool if we told our listeners where they can watch wrestling in their area. As long as they submit the shows to this website, I'll be able to tell them. I think it's a good idea.
Oh, okay.
And just as a quick for instance, in Livonia, Michigan, if you're listening from Livonia, Michigan, tonight you can go see Evolve and Shine in Livonia, Michigan. How about that?
That's cool.
If you do check it out, hit us up on Twitter. Where can they find us on Twitter, Ben?
You guys can find us at Backstage Slam. You can follow me on Twitter at BSP_Ben_. You can follow Michael at MSprout21. And you can follow Joshua at SketComic. And on top of that, here in Hawaii, on Friday, October 4th, you can go to the Filipino Community Center in Waipahu, Hawaii. Doors will be opening at 6 p.m., bell time at 7 p.m., where you have Unified Championship Wrestling, a.k.a. Oos Wrestling, promotion here in Hawaii, where we will have the likes of Yoshitatsu, Chris Masters, the Masterpiece Chris Masters, and the local stars of Hawaii wrestling. You guys can go over there at the Filipino Community Center. Just to plug something near me, since Josh did that.
Funny story. I remember Chris Masters. He was on a show called Blind Date. Do you ever watch that?
I seen that episode.
For those that don't know, Blind Date is a show where they put, two, attractive 20-somethings together on a date, and they go do a few things. Just a typical dating show, except it has like a pop-up video, blurb thing that overlays it, with comments and things of that nature. Well, I was watching an episode one day, and this couple was going on their date, and they went to a nutritional supplement store, like a GNC, and the guy behind the counter was massively ripped. And after a second, I was like, wait, That's Chris Masters. What? His first TV appearance was on a crappy dating show as the guy that works at the place they went on a date. That is too rich. And, honestly, since he left WWE, I thought he might have gone back there to work. But it's good to see that he's still wrestling.
Yeah, he's still wrestling. In fact, he's on his way to getting a shot at the Unified Championship Entertainment Wrestling, the US Heavyweight title, which is currently being held by Alpha Jr.
Really?
Who's the former Legacy member with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase's son. Yeah, Alpha Jr. He is the current Hawaii Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
I think that was a missed opportunity with...
and the women's champion is former TNA star Radiant Reign, who just wrestled Leva Bates here in US Wrestling 2 weeks ago. When Leva Bates was cosplaying as Magnum PI. Magnum PI. I was about to say Magnum TA. Yeah, so US Wrestling making waves. And I think Yoshitatsu is like the mid-card champion as well.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Hawaii getting it done. Bringing wrestling back.
Before we get out of here, is there anything else we need to throw out there?
Did you want to talk about your best Universal Championship matches?
You know what? I think we just hit the hour mark, so we can save that for another time.
Okay.
Especially for maybe for a weekend where there's not so much going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, brother, enjoy college football. At least for tonight.
And I hope you do the same.
Real quick before we go off the air, what'd you think of the Disney announcements?
Didn't see any of them.
Oh, well then. Go check out the Star Wars trailers for The Mandalorian. With that said, my name is Ben, that's Josh, and from Michael all the way in the United Kingdom, we'll bid you guys and adios. We'll see you guys next week. Too sweet, everybody.
Too sweet.